Welcome back to Tapped In with Tony with your host, Tony Bogan. Tonight, joining me is Matt Hankins, the mind behind the Northeast Ohio versus America football showcase. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tony. I followed you for a long time. Love it. Love everything you do. You do great work, and just thank you for all you do. So I got a lot of respect for you, and glad to be on. So thank you.
Not a problem, and I've been following your stuff as well. You do a lot of great work covering all the schools in the area, pointing out all the athletes to watch going into the season. So the respect is mutual.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just try to do my part. That's all I can do. So thank you.
Absolutely. And let's first start with your background. Where are you from initially, and what is it that you do? What got you involved in high school football coverage?
So, I'm a northeast Ohio. The really, I just it's in my blood. It's in my blood back to my grandpa. But it's just one of those things that I, I just I just have no good. It's be out at the games Friday. I started going to them when I was young. Then I played ball. Then when you're done playing ball, you like the atmosphere, like the feeling, like to follow the young athletes and have different relationships with different people. So it's just a diehard love that I have for the game. I love being out there. I love the atmosphere. Love the smell of the air. Love to watch the kids compete. Love to follow them as they come up and watch their careers. And it's just one of those things. I wish I had a real good answer. I think about it. It's just I just love it. I
Yeah.
just do. So I spend every Friday and Saturday. My son, he's in college now, but when he was coming up, I left a little while with the military. But outside of that time being away with the military, I was every Friday and Saturday we traveled around the state, would go to different games, watch different players. So just stuck with me, and then I kind of would see the last 3 4 years, as he finished up his career. you know Sometimes I think my dad's like, maybe it's a void I'm filling. I don't know. It's just part of my life. I love being out there. And then I followed around the country as well, made some connections. So I like to make sure that the other things I see going on in other states, whether it's Texas, Georgia, that I can somehow do my part to bring that here to Northeast Ohio. So make sure our kids are on the same level, whether it's Twitter, social media, and now with the showcase, we're seeing things pop up around the country. Why can't we do that here? And our coaches, it's good that they bought in. They have the same mindset. So, you know, just love the game, Tony. Just love being around it.
Yep, exactly. I never played football growing up. Well, my dad played high school football. I never played high school football, but I went to Shaker Heights. I was the statistician my sophomore year of high school, but back then Shaker didn't have lights, so anytime they had night games was on the road, and Friday night lights wasn't a thing until very, very recently. But
Right.
watching
That's
some of the highlights on TV, listening to the radio, listening to some of the area teams. That's what got me excited about high school football. And I've been doing something with it for over 15 years, whether it be stat keeping, video work, even a little bit of play by play stuff.
Yeah, you're crushing it. I'm telling you. First, you don't look old enough to be doing it for 15 years, so good for you. But I
Thank you.
think that's how we met. Maybe like 3 years ago, we were going back and forth about a 2 o'clock game, and we started interacting on Twitter, and I think you helped me out. And that's been, yeah, about 3 years now since initial really started launching this thing. And yeah, so well, good. And it's that's Northeast Ohio. It's football in general, but it takes everybody. You know what I mean? The teams, the programs, the coaches, strength coaches, communities. Folks like you, media like you. It takes everybody to keep us on that high level. But to it's all part of making memories. It's just one big team up here, and I love it. And you're doing your part, buddy. You are. You're doing a hell of a job. So keep up the good work. I'd like to hear more about your story someday. I like to get to know people a little bit. So I'm like to hear or maybe learn from you too how I can get better. Because I tell everybody I'm not like a media guy. I got a ton of respect for you guys. I'm just a dude, I'm just a guy. So,
A little bit of cliff notes is I actually did some camera work in 2018 for TV2 Sports. So I
uh-huh.
did some stuff around Portage County area, and then Keon Sports started in 2019. I joined up with them March 2019 and just have been covering football for them ever since. This is my fifth season doing it. And I also did a little bit of freelance stuff for Cleveland.com in the
Yeah.
2 years prior as well. I'd be the one that's typing up the little blurbs, the summaries of the games and stuff. And even occasionally covered a couple games for Cleveland.com.
So I got to ask you, where's your, and you don't have to answer this, 'cause I don't want to put you on the spot. Where's your favorite, do you have a favorite place for high school football in Northeast Ohio? Like
Ooh.
energy wise, like on a Friday night?
Oh man, I'm gonna
I don't
have
want to
to
put you on the
say
spot.
I'm gonna probably have to say maybe probably Portage County. Maybe a lot of schools up in Portage County.
Yeah.
I've been, north with some of the Youngstown schools. I've gotten to watch some of the Summit County schools. So I like to ask you the same question. Is there any, you don't have to say where
Ooh.
specifically, is there any specific area?
I'll tell you what, there's a list, but some of the stadiums that really stick out is certain matchups obviously bring the energy. The Massillon Canton, although Ed's, the Holy Wars. Um, Avon is a special place for Friday Night Lights out in Avon. It's an energy. It's a stadium I've loved and started going to years ago. Gosh, there's any given night, but there Avon sticks out. Some of the gosh, I'm gonna regret not having a better plan answering this question. I've been to Berea. I've been to Berea on a night. I took some pictures. The sun was setting. The stadium was packed. The popcorn was going. Like it was just you could feel it in the air. So every community, but there are some certain matchups I look forward to know that energy is going to be in the air. So
Absolutely. And especially like sometimes I'm a sucker for a good sunset pick. I'll just say that. Like
hmm
the sun going down with this, sometimes you'll see a city in the background.
yeah.
It'll be a warm night. It's just like,
See, that's when you know you're growing up. So you start getting a little older. That's the stuff you. But
so,
I know what you mean, though.
so how did the NEO Twitter page get started?
So it's back around. I really was watching us decline in the area recruiting wise. Then I would watch. Um, I remember it was like St. Ed's and 19 or 20. They were going and didn't have a ton of recruits and some of these other schools, but they were just beating up on these out of state teams, which shows you again coaching and pure football players wins games. Not always the best recruits are not always the best players in high school football, but I was kind of seeing a decline in recruiting, and I know a couple college coaches and started talking to them, and we have these recruiting sheets. Twitter is a recruiting sheet right at these guys' fingertips. It's used to be a recruiting sheet was a spreadsheet, and you send it to the coaches, look through it, and then you know, but started looking around Hoover, Alabama, and places around the country, and they had these Twitter accounts that were just exploding. They had cool edits and all these neat things, and we had some schools up here, a couple different schools or coaches that were really using it, but started about 3 years ago, a little more than that now, and I'd get all the programs and send everybody one mass message and say, hey, let's do a feature Friday. Can everybody feature one kid? And it took some weeks, Had some soul in. Shaker was Tyler, Coach Curtin, Coach Nicholson. Um, they were on, or yeah, Coach Curtin always been good. Yeah, a few of them jumped on board, and just kept pushing, being persistent. And I think, obviously, the coach, the high school coaches, you know, I'm just a link person in between. The colleges want to talk to them, but started realizing, hey, can post this kid and have this college following, and we can make these connections, and from there connect them to the coaches. So started doing that and seeing some success, and the colleges were like, thank you, this is great. We can search fast. We don't have to read through somebody's opinion of the government or the virus or
Yeah.
just the world in general. We can come here, we can search fast. So, it started just really taking off. It started, then it got to the point where colleges would be like, hey, send me all your running backs you guys have here. So I'd make lists and just send it to them, sort through quick and kind of see, everybody in general is a region we raised up, and we started using Twitter to our capabilities. You know what I mean? And still got a ways to go, but I think now, and it's I say it's not me, but it's the coaches, and it's that fact that we're using Twitter. We're trending up recruiting wise, and it's not always Division 1, it's Division 2. It's our kids got a lot of good students around here. Keep them good grades and get them college packages, so they're not buried in debt. And then we have guys, the coaches understand that. We have other folks, Kahari Hicks, Cleveland Heights. He preaches that a lot. A lot of people, are taking into just these college packages and getting these kids to school for free, so they're not buried in student loans. So yeah, it's just that's how it's kind of started. It really started recruiting, to try to help the recruiting and show Texas and Georgia that Ohio's where it's at.
Yeah. I feel like Ohio does get slept on a lot when it comes to high school football. Like you obviously, we everyone obviously knows about Texas and Friday Night
Yeah,
Lights, and Florida and Georgia and
yeah.
even California to a little bit of a lesser extent.
Hmm.
You've got Matter Day Prep, you've got all those other schools, and
Yeah,
Ohio, I feel like it's really slept on a lot because
it is just from the depth perception, you know what I mean? And it's again, watching I just referenced St. Ed's because that's a team everybody knows, but they're, the kind of the one of the best or one of the best in Ohio. I think they're 26-1 or something in the last 6, 7 years. Or two, they lost on a Hail Mary to Cass Tech. But you watch these teams that other in our just I have a post from October 22nd. I was just looking at it. I was trying to gather the numbers. At one point we were 30 something and 2 or something is a state, but just in 22 between the whole state. But the depth here, I think that's it. It's and then our kids are different. Cincinnati around Ohio, but Northeast Ohio. I go back to that year that Eds was losing and running through all these schools, but they would lose to Menor or they would lose to a Hoban. I think it just says the depth of football in Ohio, but the depth of football right here in our backyard is unmatched. I really feel that in my soul that it is. And yeah, Texas got good ball, but they might have 3, 4 thousand kids in a public school. They got they're bigger. They should, but I have no doubt if we took our top 10 and their top 10, I like us 6-4. I do. So
so
special place here.
Ohio Texas showcase in the future.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you right now, it's focus is locked in on week 1, but at this point, I think, and hopefully people around the nation are taking notice that we're doing this right, and that this isn't me, this is us. You know what I mean? This is for us. This is all of us, but we're doing it right. There's hey, showcases are popping up, but this one has, and it's not great, but this one has an event website. It has some cool edits and things like that. So now that we're showing the nation that we can do this and do it right. I mean, I have a lot of big schools around the country calling and wanting to be here. So it's exciting. We'll see what the future holds. Focus on this week 1, but the world's taking notice, and then go back to keep going with those Saturday games. Those our 3 teams, what 45, 50 minutes apart, are playing 3 state champions from other states. So I mean, it's it look at the Massillon Valdosta Friday, the history there, but Saturday, look at the depth. I mean, what part of the country it'd be hard to find 3 schools from 45 minutes apart to go play 3 state champions,
Oh,
and and they're going to play,
oh,
we'll see what the outcomes are, but they're going to play ball and people are going to know that
they're gonna
wow,
be on notice.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, how did this all come together? This Northeast Ohio versus America showcase. What went into creating?
Just go see a couple pop up around the country and start seeing like how can we do it here? It's they're doing it, we can do it. We need some outside promoter coming in and holding the game and charging everybody $25, $30 a ticket. Why can't we do it here and work together. It's been a struggle. It's been ups and downs, a lot of learning curves, but it's just starting with that and saying, we can do this, and send out a message to 15 programs around the state. Initially thinking, okay, what if we just did a Northeast versus Southwest and had some in-state fun? Schedules didn't line up, then just going into it, I got a list of 40 state champions. You know, Started calling them and started narrowing them down. Started thinking, okay, which matchup would be the best from a fan standpoint. No putting it together. I love high school football. People tell me I watch the kids tie their shoelaces. They joke with me, but you know, what team when we watch them plays fast? Who runs the football? Who does that little stuff that just epitomizes high school football? So I really spent hours. I go to my regular job and come home, spend time with the family, but watch those games 9 to 2, 3 in the morning every night, and started finding some that really liked, and some teams, and a couple of them lined up good and really intriguing from different aspects. So yeah, that's kind of how it started there. Just
Nice.
it's been always been a dream, but it's weird that it's happening this week. So
Absolutely. It's just amazing to see how things have just come together. You've got two big schools like Massillon and Valdosta, Georgia. Break that matchup down a little bit for those
we're
who are
getting
probably listening for the first time.
Yeah, I mean that's it speaks for itself. I mean that's the winningest game in the history of high school football. Number one in all-time wins versus number four. It's been 30, 40 years talking to the old timers. They've wanted this matchup on both sides for a lot of years. It's going to happen. Just never quite came together. And initially, when got the four Northeast Ohio schools, went to Coach Moore and said, you know, the other had some schools lined up, but you know, and the Maslin situation with the history there, you got to say, hey, coach, what's your dream scenario? You know what I mean? What's your dream matchup? And he knows the history there, but he knows the the years and years of proud football in Maslin, and that matchup, that they've wanted for years. And it's same with Coach Felton in Georgia. Um, they had to work some stuff to get out of their contract. They were going to Florida week one, but you know, they got out of that to come up here. So, you get into that. You got two historic programs, two kids, or excuse me, two teams that they're going to fight. They're going to put, we call them tough or dogs, whatever these days. Tough teams on both sides. 11 on every time. You know what I mean? 11 on 11. They're going to play fast, physical. Um, fans are gonna be rowdy. Georgia's bringing up some buses. It's a historic matchup. I think it's turning in a couple Buckeyes fans, an Ohio versus Georgia matchup. You know what I mean? Some bragging rights there after the college stuff. So just gonna loaded players, and kids are gonna play fast and physical, and it's gonna be a special night. There's some things happening that night. I have to tell people it's gonna be pretty insane. But I truly believe, like I said, being it games in different locations and just loving being there, little fly on the wall. I feel like this is set up to be the greatest night outside of watching my own son play ball when he was playing. Is I feel like this is the greatest night of high school football that's going to happen this Friday. I firmly believe it, and I'm just so excited for both communities, for everybody involved. I know Friday there's games all over, and be following all those too, and they're all just as important. I feel like I'm focusing a lot on this. I feel bad for some of the other games, but yeah, it's going to be incredible, and it's going to be a night to remember, and one heck of a football game. About those two, they have some tough kids, a couple Colorado commits on the D line. QB1 plays good, a lot of young talent. Maslin is just pieced together really, really good. I feel like this could be out of even when they had some special teams, 18, 19. I feel like this could be Maslin's best team they've had in a long time. I think
They've
they
always had some really great runs in the postseason in the past few years. Won a couple regional championships in 19 and 20.
yeah.
They're a football powerhouse. I've covered a couple North South showcase games in the spring. Massillon Stadium is really nice, and you can tell
Mhm.
how much the community cares about their football and the kids as well.
Oh, they do. It's special. They get a. I did one other kind of interview type, and I'll say it again, is they, we're hard on Massillon. Well, people are hard on Massillon, because their fans are rowdy. They love them. They're crazy. They talk a little crap, this and that. But, you know, communities are like that in Texas too. You know what I mean? But they're just, it's a rare place. I go there, kind of setting this up, and I go to McDonald's at Massillon. Every time I go into town, I stop there and I get a coffee, and there's about 17 to 25 60, 70-year-old men sitting there talking about football. Exactly what you think it would be like. That's what it's like. So it's an incredible place. And leading up to that Thursday night, they're going to have like a kind of turn the town into maybe a little party and have some, some parade, a museum set up, food, some drinks, and things like that. So I'll be down there. If you're not doing nothing, stop down. We'll link up.
I'm actually going to be at a game, believe it
Uh,
or not, at a rivalry game, believe it or not, Roosevelt Ravenna.
okay.
I'm actually going to be covering a game that night.
Go- That's
Otherwise,
gonna be a
I
good
could
one.
possibly swing through. And also, like, it's just amazing how Massillon has that a lot of connections. I was covering a baseball game up at League Park a couple years ago. I know
Uh-huh.
someone who had a cousin who was a Massillon who played for Massillon, and they said TIG baby. And
That's a
next
good
match
one.
I want to talk to you about St. Ed's Center Grove, Indiana. Break that down a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for all these games. This one here is going to be. I back to the chess match. The coaching board is Coach Tom Lombardo from Eds. He's planted a seed now. Here is a legend. His titles and his culture that he's created is unmatched, and I feel like that is the closest that maybe could be matched by is the culture in Center Grove. Coach Eric Moore, he's another legend. He's got I think he's got 5 titles out there at Center Grove. It's just it's going to be a coaching battle. Tons of the coordinators there are elite high school football coordinators. They could all be college coordinators. Um, the position coaches is just the strength programs. You're going to see obviously Ed's is they're going to have some more recruits on the field with the Armstrong twins, Roebuck, Thomas, Regovich, and Casey Bullock's back. Um, you're going to see a strong, tough team that's gonna do their job, and it goes back to same thing with Center Grove. 11 more, 11 on 11 again that are going to do their job. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to fight. They're going to work hard. They're going to do the little things right. You won't see many mistakes out of these teams, and their coaches will set them up for success. And Center Grove's coming off won 3 straight state titles in Indiana. They're going for number 4. They really became the standard out there, and we're going to see 5 straight state championships go at it. That hasn't, from my research and knowledge, or I people that have looked into it for me, is that hasn't happened in the Midwest. So I personally myself, and I think others, this is kind of consider it even though it's moved on, but based on wins, Midwest championship type game. Who has that going to get them bragging rights to bring it home. So it's exciting. Center Grove, great community. Getting to know those people out there, and great community, great fan base. So excited. It's going to be quarterback Tyler Cherry. He's going to Duke. Noah Coy, fantastic receiver. He's actually going to Cincinnati to play baseball. But see a lot of ballers on the field, a lot of players, and it's going to be one heck of a football game. One
I,
heck of a game.
I
Yeah.
covered St. Ed's in the state championship game last year, followed them for years. They always turn out talent year after year.
Yeah.
No surprise they won back to back state championships at the D1 level in Ohio. Got
Right.
a lot of talented, really great kids. And
Yeah.
then, speaking of which, they played St. Ed's and they did a scrimmage against Glenville, which was weather shortened last week, but it's kind of like a preview of what's to come. And speaking of Glenville, we're going to talk about their matchup against Dinwiddie, Virginia.
So Glenville, Teddy Gidd Senior got that state title last year. They're going to play Dinwiddie under the lights. That's going to be at 8 o'clock. Um, It's going to Dinwiddie, Virginia state champs. Last year they finished 761 points, 13th highest scoring offense in the nation, led by Harry Dalton the third. Quarterback athlete type kid. He's only a 2025 young kid. Went for 4,000 all-purpose yards, 60 touchdowns. Has that Alabama offer, Tennessee, all those. Ran some 4.3 40s, verified at these camps. So he's a special kid, really great kid. I went out to Virginia, spent a day with them on the Army base, and got to watch them work. And when I mean by work, I mean old school bear crawling type
Wow.
play after play, toughness. Savon McDowell, he's a really good linebacker they got, tight end. Raphael Tucker is another kid. You're going to see some really good players hit the field, and Dinwiddie has a special culture out there. Where, like I said, and I guess that's you can create culture like that when your kids go to an army base and no cell phones and they're
Just
blocked out from the world and they just bond as brothers. So that's a real cool program. Coach Billy Mills, he's a really good guy and does things different, but pretty awesome program. And Glenville, I mean, we know all the talent they got back. Demarion Witten, Bryce West, the Ohio State. Fred Johnson Jr. on the line going to Louisville. Um, Gosh, Cam at linebacker. They talent all over the place. They're they're hungry. Deshaunte Jones at running back. So Glenville's going to be really, really, really tough team. And in the short time that scrimmage did happen, Ed's played good, but Glenville was definitely they got rolling there before the Lightning came in. But no surprise, Deshaunte Jones is a tank, 5'10", 230, can run. So quarterback looking good. So Glenville's going to be a really good team. Going to be a lot of speed on the field that game, a lot of athletes, and a lot of toughness. And it's intriguing from that standpoint that how fast, as a football guy, how fast Dinwiddie plays. Can Glenville match that? And can Dinwiddie match Glenville's toughness and what they're going to throw at him? So I feel like this could overall be another team that Glenville it could be their best team. That I know they've had tons, but I'm saying overall this team is really deep and really good, and coach knows it. It's I helped facilitate scheduling the IMG game. They're going to go to IMG week 5, so he knows he's got a real good team, and we'll get to see him under the lights. So
yeah, and
it'll be
Ginsburg's
exciting.
done an amazing job, just not only on the field but off the field with
Yeah. Oh yeah.
me and him finally winning a state championship last season. The emotion after that, just seeing how happy all those kids were. I remember one
Yeah.
of the coaches said to the camera they wanted it and they got it. It was just a lot of just a lot of joy on that
Yeah.
line and seeing those kids dominated throughout Division 4 all
Oh
season,
yeah.
ran through the playoffs, and they just finished it off in Canton. And I I think they're going to make a deep run again. They just
I
got a lot of talent over there.
yeah, I think so. And I think even from just watching them, you know what I mean? I think it's, they're disciplined. They have a coach has got a good staff in place. So everybody's held accountable. So I think they got some really great things happening over there. And coach always has. And what he does for the young people is pretty amazing, and what he has and the lives he's changed. But on the football field, I'm with you. They're the clear front runners in Division 4, and it'll be tough to beat them, no matter who you are. So
Absolutely. And we last but definitely not least, Hoban and Frederick Douglass, Kentucky. Talk about that
I'm excited about all these games. This one here, I'm really fired up about. I mean, all of them I am. But Hoban 4 o'clock game, Frederick Douglass, Kentucky State champs out of Lexington. They've risen to the top faster than anybody in the nation. You got to check out. I just posted a little clip. Lavelle Martin, he's from Kentucky, of a hype video he made. Click over and watch that, because this thing is the swag level on that is unreal. Like, this team is legit. They coach, he does a great job social media wise. It's a really new school type of program and feed kids into college. They have Zuri Madison. He's going to Arkansas. He's on the O line. D'Amico Kennedy. He might end up at Purdue. We'll see. Big time kid Jeremiah Lowe, DB, just committed to Michigan. Another D1 cornerback. These guys, they get up at 5 in the morning. They work hard. They have standard culture. Coach is a great guy. I've got to know him, and just a proud team that does the little things right. Little, good strength program. Um, and really just have elevated as fast as I've ever seen a team elevate from start to finish. So they definitely got something special. They're I think they're starting in the 40s. They're somewhere in the top 100 to start the year, and they're going to match up with a Holman team that brings back a lot of talent. The big loss we both know, Lamar Sperling. He's moved on. Who's going to fill that void for them? But the line's going to be there. Boykin's looking good at quarterback after making a switch from corner. Ormsby, they got Peyton Cook outside. Falkenstein, they got some really good players on the O. But that defense is could be, I think it could be as good as that 2020 D, which is to me one of the best defenses I've seen in high school football. So, Eli Lee, Ricky Williams at the linebacker, Tanner Mintz, Pritchard Sowell, Devin Bell on the D line, and some other guys on the back end, Tyson Campbell, Xavier Williams. Um, Grant, he's going to play the other corner. I would assume he looks really good. I'm missing kids, I know, but these hoping that defense is going to be tough. I'm just trying to figure out. It's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a lower scoring game, but it's just another one. Everyone's intriguing in their own way, but this one it's another one. 20 plus D1 kids on the field. I think over the weekend, if overall there'll be over 100 future D1 kids that'll play, whether it's the 24s, 25s, and even some 26s. So loaded with talent. That game is definitely loaded, and you're gonna see two good. Coach Tyrell, he's a phenomenal coach. A phenomenal, one of the best you'll find. And Coach McPeak's a great coach out of Kentucky. So it's gonna be a good matchup, and come down to you know turnovers, explosive plays, and you know, it's gonna be there. So I mean, I'm excited for that one. So
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
quick little rundown. I could go for hours on these teams and these games, and it's been a pleasure to get to know all of them and get to know the coaches more. And I'm just excited for everybody. I truly am excited for the kids, and I want to try to at this point just Massillon's going to be busy, but try to get the communities out Saturday to not just make it about these teams, but just get us all together to celebrate football. Some cool things going on at the village. If you ride rides, some food, restaurants, and hoping everybody can come out and support the region, and really we can show Texas and these other states, that why we're so special here in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. So encourage
Absolutely.
everybody to come out that's watching this, come out and support the kids, the region, and rep your school, throw your gear on, and let's make it incredible weekend, and let's make Saturday an incredible day. So
Yeah.
excited.
A quick note about Hoban, they've the run they've been on is just amazing from mid 2010s onward. Multiple state championships, multiple kids playing in college. The run they've been on when I was in high school, they didn't have the best of luck, and even a couple years after I graduated, but they just turned it on, and they've just been on the roll ever since.
Yeah, and it's you get Coach Tyrell came in, and then I really Coach Mike Winkler. He came over as 14, 15 as their strength coach, and it's hard. It'll be hard to find a strength coach better in the nation than he is. And like I said, they're the strongest, some of the fastest teams, some of the strongest teams put on the field, some of the least injury wise. They have great numbers and cramping, those types of things. And yeah, I mean, those are five titles since 15, and it's really became a dynasty. I tell people it's weird. There's six teams playing Saturday, and Hoban's the only one that's not the state champion. It doesn't even sound right to me, you know. So dynasty for sure. So
Absolutely. And what is it that separates Northeast Ohio football from, say, the other regions and other states? Because even from big time to small, big cities to small cities, I see it in Mogador, for instance. You got the whole town comes out to support Mogador. Mogador's team and Ravenna's team and
Yeah.
a lot of that. So tell me about that.
I think, Cincinnati's a special place. Columbus is kind of on the rise, and there's some small communities around Ohio, Ironton, and some other places. But we have a lot of. This is just an opinion here, but you know, it goes back to the grassroots of it. We have older generation that it has, that older generation kind of toughness remains, and we instill those values in our kids, and coming up youth football, and the coaching and the culture here, and the drive to compete amongst these coaches, to be the best, and the men and the leaders, and you know obviously the parents, what they're teaching these kids at home, and making them understand work ethic and things like that. I mean, there's some core values here that translate over to the football field, and um, I don't know if it's something in the water too. We got a lot of tough kids, but it's just the way of this region, and it could be a little bit of water, could be the parents, but it's just a sense of pride, and it's a sense, we're starting to see too, their toughness and football. I feel like, you know, being now where I'm 40 now, and you see kids coming back up where their parents played, so you're getting a generation coming up where get a lot more of their parents played, and we're kind of seeing those kids come through, and just the way the times change, the training's changing, and the things like that are elevating. So I mean, there's a lot of things, in my opinion, that factor into why it's different and special, and it's definitely unique, and again, the depth here, and the toughness of these kids is pretty incredible if you really start researching and go around different areas, watching ball. And nothing against the other areas. They're just, Cincinnati's a special place, and other states, but there's just something about it here that maybe it's getting a little extra cold from the lake for some communities, or going through certain things, you know, having men that lead them, that demand, max effort and things like that. Got a lot of good people in place here. A lot of good people, a lot of good coaches, a lot of good men. So,
Absolutely. And why I like doing what I do, I like to tell their stories. Like on Friday night, it'll be warm, and no disrespect to people who enjoy this, but like some people will probably go out for a night on the town or something like that. Go out and do stuff, like go out to do stuff like that, like go up to Cleveland or Akron or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine.
right.
But I like going to the fields, what taking video and telling these kids stories and just soaking it all in, seeing the communities come out. Because that's something that they'll remember the rest of their lives.
That's it. You got it. And I can see it in you, and your smile and your passion. And I watch you, and the kids enjoy talking to you. Again, you do a heck of a job, but that's what it is. We could come together. There's not a better time in life. We all wish we could go back. You know what I mean? It's whether no matter it's something. You know what I mean? But that it's you, you hit it right on, and it's you know lucky to have people like you around to tell these stories, because we have the football side, but we also have I get to know these kids a lot, and it's we got some special young people here. We want to be hard on our young people, but this generation to me is the one that's going to change the world.
Absolutely.
Football side, whether it's the social issues and things like that. It's a special group of young people that they do stupid stuff, but they respect people, and they're good people, and our stars here, and even if they're not a star, the kids, you can talk to them. They're good kids. They're good to talk to, and then they have those stories that people need to hear, get to know. So I'm just glad that somebody like you is doing that, because they need that. Not just because other areas have it. They need it so people can know them, so hear about them, and they can let it off their chest, and get
Absolutely.
noticed. And so keep doing your thing, Tony.
Of course.
Really, man.
Of
Really
course.
keep.
And
We're all grateful for you. We really are. I mean that.
thank you, man. I appreciate that. And well, we're about to come down to the end of the episode. So if you have anything else you want to say or wonder where people can follow you,
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. I gotta. People get on me about Instagram. I gotta do better there. But I operate on Twitter at Ohio NE Big School. I encourage people come. Going to be some special games Friday, but come out Saturday. I'd love to get everybody out there, as many different communities, um, just to make it a good energy. It's making that move over there. It's a big stadium. You know what I mean? But it definitely want to make it special for the kids, the teams playing. Obviously, if you want to watch some of the best football you'll see in the nation, it's going to be on display there, all in one location. But let's get out, let's support these teams, support the region, and come out and have some fun. So you can get tickets. I got it pinned on the Twitter page, or there's an event website at ohiofbshowcase.com. So, you know, thank you to you, Tony. Thank you to Northeast Ohio. Let's keep teamwork makes the dream work. So let's keep crushing it together and rise our kids to the top. And again, thanks for having me. And here for anything. If you ever need me, appreciate you.
Course, and Tapped In with Tony is available on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, Tony.